we need to have a serious conversation. Now, this is going to be an unpopular conversation, but it's one that we need to have. And that is, actually, can you just cue some really dramatic music? I think we need some dramatic music for this. My unpopular opinion after shooting with the A7S3 for quite a few months now is that you do not need to be shooting in SLOG3 or SLOG2 when you're doing studio product photography. So we've been using the A7S3 now for a good couple of months. We're filming on one now. I've got one here. We have been really enjoying this camera. It's a beast of a camera. The thing has got massive capabilities, and SLOG3 is a fantastic way to be shooting and getting your footage. The dynamic range that you've got is amazing. But my unpopular opinion is going to be, regardless of how amateur or professional you are, you do not need to be using SLOG in a studio environment. The studio environment is so controlled that you don't need to be pushing the dynamic range. You don't need to be pushing that much color. If you're sitting under lights and soft boxes and beautifully controlled environments, you can burn that black in, you can burn those colors in because you've controlled what you're doing. Now, if you're out in the middle of the desert chasing trucks, or if you're trying to shoot a film for Netflix, yes, you do need to be able to play with that dynamic range in post. You just don't need to be doing it when you're shooting product videos in a studio or in a controlled environment. So ungraded S-Log is nothing special when you're looking at it like this. Ungraded S-Log, you can't see the blacks, we can't see the color or the highlights. There's a lot of work to be done to turn this footage that you're watching now into the final thing. But if you shoot 709, this is just an easier way to shoot for something like YouTube or something like studio work. When I was looking to buy the A7S3, I watched every YouTube video out there. There's this kind of premise of like, oh, if you're going to be professional, you have to shoot in log. And I think that's honestly bullshit. It's probably doing more harm than good for people beginning in the industry. They're getting a good result out of the camera, but they don't know how to take it into post-production and get a fantastic outcome shooting in log. They're better off just shooting in REC709 and speeding up the whole process in post-production. So that's my unpopular opinion about SLOG3. You don't need to be using it all the time. Yes, it's got a beautiful dynamic range and it's fantastic if you're doing really high production stuff. But if you're in the studio shooting good, quick, cheap content for your customers, you can shoot in REC709 just fine and get a fantastic outcome. The post-production process for us shooting in REC709 makes more money in our pocket at the end of the day, and it's just an easier process for us to get content finalized into our customers. If you agree with me, leave a comment below. If you disagree with me, also leave a comment below. I can handle it. And I honestly think that shooting in REC709 is going to save you a lot of time in post-production. Time saved is money saved at the end of the day when you're doing this professionally and trying to make a living from it. That's it. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.